Hello YouTube, Marielle here. Well, last night I finally spoke to my angel warrior. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, angel warrior is a nickname I gave to my divorce lawyer. So basically, like one of you actually recommended me to do, I sent her an email yesterday detailing my concerns and wishes. I basically told her that I wanted to move away from this house of pain as soon as my daughter turned 18. I explained to her that my home is in a lot of disrepair, and since my wolf is responsible for this amount of neglect, I strongly feel that he should be made responsible for the repairs as well as the sale of the home. Although, now that I'm actually saying that and thinking about it, I'm wondering if there is a way to make sure my wolf doesn't sell our home as is, just to be lazy and to prevent me from benefiting from the sale of the house. Because truly, when I say that this house is in disrepair, I mean it is in disrepair. And this has been going on for many years now. Every time that we needed to update something or repair something or replace something, he has always refused to do anything. So much so that I have had to use my own savings to do some of the work in the house. So now I'm thinking that probably he was thinking well ahead of time to make sure that the house falls apart, so that when it comes to selling it, if a divorce was to happen, it meant that we'll sell the house at a loss, and therefore I'll make no money out of it. So this could possibly have been one of his plans. So I suppose this is another question I'll need to ask the angel warrior to see how we could prevent him from doing that, most especially if I disengage myself from the process. Because you have to understand, the way I see it is that if I stay engaged in the process of getting this house back up to standard, so it could actually be sold at its current value, because the house is in a very good neighborhood, and since we bought it almost 12 years ago, the value of the place has appreciated a lot. And if I stay engaged in a process to make sure that this happens correctly, I know without a shadow of a doubt that he will do anything and everything he can to frustrate me, to anger me, to delay things, to make me run after him, to play all of those games with me, and I just don't want that. That's another reason why I do not want to stay in this house, so that I don't have to engage him on that level. And but now I suppose that I'll have to be very careful to see whether there is a way to get the judge to get involved in forcing him to sell this house properly by cleaning it and putting it back to standard. So we'll see. I will most certainly update you on that one. But anyway, I also explained to my angel warrior that because my wolf is an emotional predator as well as a chaos master, my top priority is to significantly deprive my wolf of situation he can manipulate to create confusion, misunderstanding, or situation where I can use innocent people to triangulate them with me in order to make himself look good and powerful. And just like I said before, the repairs of this house, hiring builders or repair people or cleaners and all of those things. It's just going to be like he won't be able to resist using those opportunity to mess with me. This is actually the kind of situation that I desperately want to avoid. And I explained to my angel warrior that once I leave this house, the only contact I should have with him is only through her. Only through her as a lawyer or any other lawyer. And that's all. The thought of being forced into actively interacting with him because of this house, I mean, this is what exactly made me panic this entire weekend, as you all saw. It's just too much for me to handle. In my email, I also explained to my angel warrior why I wanted to take advantage of still being in possession of the unlimited purchase option on the American Express, and why I also wanted to take advantage of the equity in our home, all of which can help me secure a place to live away from here and provide me as well with liquid cash to help me afford her if things don't turn out in our favor. But the angel warrior made it clear that whatever happened in the long run, the wolf will have to pay for everything, especially with him being at fault. She went on to ask me to download apps on my phone and computer, which can help unearth every single one of our exchanges to prove his abusive control over me financially and otherwise. She said that there is no way with what we have and everything else we are subsequently going to unearth. There is no way he's not going to be at fault in all of this. So I was over the moon about that when she told me about those apps, because I know I had deleted a lot of incriminating old email exchange we've had, because at the time I was just concerned about making more space memory on my phone and on my computer. So tomorrow I'm going to start looking into that, and if I can't do it by myself, I will most definitely will have to find somebody who can do it for me, or pay somebody who can do it for me. One thing she tried very hard to make me understand was that I was entitled to spousal support. Now, this is something she told me before, but she felt that I needed to hear that again, and I suppose she was right. She said I was entitled to spousal support, and because my wolf has a very good salary, he will be obligated to provide for me, especially because he prevented me from working, and also because I have no marketable skills to find a job straight away, which makes me feel kind of bad. It doesn't make me feel good at all. But she said that it will not count against me in the judge's eyes. And for my defense, I've always tried to do something. Over the years, I've always tried businesses before, even before we came to this country. But every single time, it was a case of as I started to make connections and have customers, it was time to leave. It was always like that. And unfortunately for me, when we moved into this country, I went into a very, very deep depression. And the loss of my mom and a few things conspired really to make it very difficult for me to successfully run my business, which I ended up having to close down. So I know I haven't just sat there and done nothing or tried to do nothing for myself. I really did try, but every single time things really made it very difficult, especially having to following around through different countries. It really, really interfered a lot with my ability to to make money for myself or develop a career or do any of those things. So she said that the judge will not look badly upon me. She also reassured me that I could leave my home without being penalized financially in any way during the divisions of assets. But she insisted on me renting a place rather than buying a place, even if it was super cheap, simply because it made things easier for everybody when there is less assets to divide. In the meantime, she told me to make a list of expenses for my wolf to be ordered to pay in order to maintain my lifestyle. I had to laugh at that. My lifestyle. What exactly is my lifestyle? You know, to maintain my lifestyle. I laughed and she laughed with me because we both know this is going to be a challenge for me, because the children and I have always lived on a fraction of what the wolf real income truly is. That's what we now find out. But besides that, there's the fact that I've always been frugal, and I've always I'm always on the side of wanting to save money, wanting to economize and that kind of things. And there's so much that I am accustomed not to do that she had to make me promise not to think economically when I wrote this list. She explained that we had to start asking really high, because the wolf's lawyer will probably fight every one of our demand. So she explained that we really will need enough room to maneuver before we can settle on anything. And if we start too low at what is my usual standard, we could end up with nothing, because they'll fight us on everything. So I have to say that once she addressed every one of my concerns, I did feel much better. Although I must admit, and I hope those of you over there will understand what I'm trying to say here. It's not that I don't believe in her abilities. It's not that I don't trust her to do what she needs to do for me. It's not that I don't trust her to fight for me. The fact and the matter is that I have lived a life of things just never working out for me in the long run. And because of that, deep inside of me, I can't help but expect things to go not according to plan. That's why I feel anxious, I feel nervous, I feel panicked, I feel stressed, and I truly feel obsessed with having a plan A and a plan B and a plan C in case things just don't work out. I can't help myself, because I'm so used to this level of uncertainty. I'm so used to things just not making sense and not going right, that it's, there's an awful lot of pessimism that inside of me, that now I have to try to fight off in order to not jinx my own to not jinx things. And this is something that is going to take a lot of small victories in my life for my optimistic meter, to start functioning right again, to go back and start being rational. Because even though I know this is, it's kind of an irrational at this point, I just can't help myself. I really can't. But before I go, here is one thing that I've forgotten to mention before. This is something that my angel warrior mentioned to me the first time I spoke with her, the very, very first time I spoke to her face to face. This is what she said to me, or rather she asked of me. She asked me if I wanted to change my name. Now, when she said that, I was stunned. It left me speechless because I thought, what is she talking about here? But this is what she explained to me. She said that this is something that she always asked her clients, because a lot of people don't know that a name could be legally changed during the divorce process. She explained that the only way to change a name was to launch a lawsuit. And since a divorce is technically a lawsuit, it makes it the ideal time to have that process to start that process. And she went on also to say that doing so would also send a powerful message to my abusive husband. And I thought at the time, I've had time to think about it since the first time she mentioned it to me, and I've decided to go ahead and do it. I have no intention to go back to my maiden name, simply because I am no longer that innocent, wonderfully, beautifully naive 25-year-old young woman who wholeheartedly took on a soulmate's name, believing it to be a symbolic gesture of my love, devotion, and respect for him, not knowing that my so-called soulmate internal beliefs were that with me taking on his name, it symbolizes his ownership over my body, mind, and soul. And with me doing, taking on his name, it gave him the permission or the thought that he could just enslave me, which he has done and gotten away with so far. So for me, definitely breaking that bond, breaking that attachment, despite the fact that we have children, is extremely important to me. It takes on a whole symbolic gesture of cleaning him out of my system. And the real shame for me is not to be able to walk away as well from his money, to throw back in his face is my wedding ring, my wedding engagement, my engagement ring, any of those things, and really just tell him to shove it all. I wish I could. I wish I could walk away from everything. I wish I could walk away from the money. I wish I could tell him, not even tell him, just completely just ghost him out, like the youngsters say these days. So I have decided on a name that is already familiar to me, which still ties me to my roots and family of origin. But at the same time, this name will symbolize a new beginning, a rebirth, a celebration of the future, an anticipation of the future, and a celebration of the death as well of this miserable stage of my existence. And I am beyond grateful for my angel warrior to have given me something new and shiny to want to work towards. I can't wait to see my new name on all my government papers. I can tell you this for sure. On that day, the day I will see my new name on all of those papers, I will be just like Gigi Gorgeous. For those of you who might be familiar with that young transgender, the day she received her documents with her name, with her female name on it, she was like, yeah! And I guess that will be me. Bye.